Hey everyone, this is Anka of AGBlend13 showing how I turn my artwork into this style of 3D animation using Gimp. Gimp is a free and open source raster image editing program. So here I've imported a photograph of my painting and I've created a second layer over the first, and I've colored that layer to black, and then I've lowered the opacity so I can see what I'm doing. So what we're doing here is making a gradient map. And I tend to work from back to front. So black is the farthest away from your eyes. Black is the background. And then working in slightly lighter shades of gray, working your way forward to white. So the figure, she's kind of in the background. So she's going to be a fairly dark gray. And I'm using the lasso tool with quite a hazy blur on it. You don't need to be super precise with this. I trace the figure, trace the stars, working my way from back to front, just trying to visualize this scene as if it were a 3D space. So what's closer to your eyes is going to be progressively lighter shades. And going from there, you can definitely be very loose with it. It actually will have a worse effect. For example, if you try to really precisely trace each element of your piece, you want it to be a little hazy. The gradient map, you want it to be a little hazy for the final effect to look good. And so I kind of just go from there. Every once in a while, I adjust the opacity to see how everything's looking and moving my way toward the front. So here we've got the purple flower who's walking down the hill. She's kind of the closest to our eyes, as well as that hillside that she's walking on. And so that's going to be the lightest shade of gray. And then I go back and forth, adjust the opacity, and keep working on it. Total, this took me 11 minutes from start to finish. So this isn't a super involved process, especially once you get the hang of it. And the frame, that section around the edges, that's just where my tape lines were, taping the paper down when I was working on the painting. And I made that white as if it's a frame around the whole scene and moved so that's farthest or closest to our eyes in the foreground. And here we go. I'm going to zoom out and you will see there it is, original painting, and there is the gradient map. It's actually pretty simple. You know, it's a complex painting, but you can see I don't worry about tracing every little thing. It's just about giving a taste for this 3D effect. So I move the gradient map to the background and then Filters Map Displace. Up here in the Aux Input, you double click on the gradient map because you need to give the GIMP a guide for what is serving as the map for creating this shifting back and forth. So I'm only working on the horizontal displacement, and you can see when I'm shifting it back and forth, it's very subtle. I'm only doing a 2-degree displacement, and I export this as 3 separate images. So the first picture is slightly shifting to the left, the second picture is the original painting, and the third picture is slightly shifting to the right. And then you can loop that just to make a 4-frame animation, 1, 2, 3, 2, and it'll create a perfect loop. Here we go, shifting back and forth. There she is. So I'm going to put a written instructions below in the description, and I hope you tried it for yourself. Thanks for watching.